Yo, my G, what you saying?
My G.
What up, and greetings! I'm back once again with another top 5 video from Mean Streets of Gadgets, and this time we're gonna be looking at the top 5 most anticipating cards from the upcoming set, and with that, I'm also going to take a look at if these cards are a bit overhyped, if they're perhaps slightly overrated. So stay with me as we get into number 5. I have to stress out that my opinions are completely subjective, and I'm gonna be basing those from data coming from the poll that has been done recently, or it's pre-expansion poll done by Vicious Syndicate. I'm gonna post it in the section below, so check it out. Also from, Facebook threads and Reddit threads and popular opinion on the internet, as well as talking to my friends about the expansion. So this list might be different for you, and if it is, share it in the comment section below with us. Let us know what you think are the top 5 most anticipated cards for you. So I just want to go quickly over some of the results from the poll. So the total responses are slightly under 9,000 now, so it's not, completely objective as we look at it, and I'm taking the responses 4 to 5, which 4 is very strong and 5 is staple. We'll see play across a variety of decks, and you can see a lot of them are repeating and a lot of legendaries are listed. People are naturally more excited about legendaries, so I try to choose cards that are also non-legendaries, and saw the most positive response from public. Yeah, if you compare 4 or 5 percentages on some of these, they rank up to, 90%, which is kind of crazy, to be honest. Yeah, so let's get to our number 5. So number 5 on our list is the new Shaman legendary White Eyes. It's a 5 mana 5/5 taunt that when it dies, shuffles the Storm Guardian in your deck, which is a 5 mana 10/10 taunt. And a lot of people are like, this is crazy, Shaman doesn't need any more stronger cards. And that's true, but I don't think that this card is so strong, so I would put it in the overrated or overhyped section, because currently Shaman doesn't really care about late game so much. I believe that you are trying to beat your opponent in the first 10 to 20 cards if everything is put together, and if it doesn't, then you often lose, no matter if you shuffle a Storm Guardian into your deck or not, because you usually lose to control type of decks that don't really care about stats that much, to be honest, because they have a lot of removal that, deals with anything, hard removal, executes, shield slams and stuff like that. This would possibly see play in Control Shaman, and Control Shaman is nowhere as strong as the mid-range variant that is being played right now, so I don't think that this card will be that amazing. I'm definitely gonna play it and try it out, because I was playing quite a bit of Control Shaman lately and I'm really enjoying that deck, even if it wasn't wild, where I could play all my elemental destructions and stuffs when they rotate out. But yeah, Storm Guardian is unfortunately not gonna be the strongest card in Shaman. I think that this card is overrated. On number 4, we've got Jade Idol, the new druid spell, 1 mana. Summon a Jade Golem or shuffle 3 copies into your deck. Now I think that this card might be also falling into the category of overrated, is that it's very slow. It might sound good that it's actually, you can play it anytime, right? It's a 1 mana spell, but to get proper value of it, you don't necessarily want to just play another golem, because yeah, you might play loads of golems, infinite amounts of golems during the game, but you usually will play cards that do something else as well as play a golem. Like the new legendary that summons a golem when it comes into play, and when it dies, it summons 2 golems as well as summon a body in play, and that's really important. The second part of the spell is summon 3 copies of the spell inside your deck, which again, yeah, it might prevent fatigue, it might be great in the late game, but is a 7/7 body that great in late game when you're actually on the verge of dying or winning every single turn? Will something that can attack the next turn be really that impactful? Just a bunch of stats? I don't think that's very impactful on that stage of game, and those decks will be mainly struggling with keeping up with aggro decks, something like Druid Cthulhu decks had problem with. So this might be the same danger with the Jade Idol decks, and I think that this card might see some hilarious plays. you know, with Fendril and with Mildex and all that stuff. But overall, it might not be as strong as people think. Number 3 on my list is the new minion for hunters called Rat Pack, and it's a 3 mana 2/2. But with all the buffs that are being introduced, it can grow to being potentially much bigger than that. Why is that important? Because when it dies, it summons that many rats equal to its attack. So after it dies, it summons 2 rats by default, even without being buffed. You can still buff it in play through a Hunt Master because it's a beast. And with all those buffs and cards coming out that buff stuff in your hand, this can actually get pretty out of control. Yeah, you can never summon more rats than 7 when it dies because you only have 7 places in your board. But even on 5 or 6, it starts getting into incredible value. And yeah, 1/1s can be easily removed by a Maelstrom Portal, stuff like that. But after you played one, you know, you ran out of your Maelstrom Portals and then you're waiting for the other one. So summoning a 7/7 worth of stats and then giving another 7/7 worth of stats after the minion dies might prove to be really, really strong. And this card might be potentially one of the best cards that work with the buffing, even better than Doppelgangsters. So I would definitely put it into the category of not overhyped and actually being very good. I might be wrong on this one, but that card is pretty good. Number 2 on my list is Kazakus. So that neutral minion that unfortunately is only for the Cabal tribe and gets you a randomized spell depending on your options and what you want to pick in which situation. It is still slightly randomized from what I reckon, but we still need to try the card out and play with it a lot to see all the possible combinations. Now, I think that this card might be slightly overhyped because from the poll it seems just like, you know, the card is the best in the expansion, apart from the one that came out on number 1, which I'm gonna talk about later. To me, the Reno type of decks are gonna soon be losing the most important tool that it has and what the decks are named about, which is Reno. And so far from the effects, none of them are coming close to what Reno does, with the ability of being able to heal you from nothing to full, and you being able to reproduce this effect a couple of times with Brewmasters, with Shadow Steps, you know, copying Reno, all that good stuff. I don't think that this card by itself can make Reno decks happen, and Reno decks have sort of been rotated out as the inconsistency and the fact that they have to play 1 copy or sometimes 2 copies of 1 card, but the rest of them only 1 copy, and the inconsistency that it brings. Is this gonna be enough? Is Kazakus and cards like Raza and the Mage Legendary, and actually all the Cabal classes got their own Reno Legendary, which is pretty cool and I like the flavor of it. But is it going to be enough? We shall see. I think that this card might be on the slightly overrated side, but I hope that I am wrong because, you know, Reno or Highlander decks are something that I really enjoy. It makes you think, which is sometimes quite rare in Hearthstone. And on number 1, we probably have the strongest card that is being added to Priest, at least in its retrospective archetype, which is Dragon Priest and his Dragonfire Potion. This card has been hailed as the new replacement for Light Bomb. And it's actually better than Light Bomb if you're playing Dragon Priest. Unless you're facing against another dragon deck, then it's not so great because it actually doesn't damage your opponent's minions. But, you know, that's a downside you have to take into account if you are designing any board clear, you know, that deals so much with less mana cost than a Flame Strike does, because Flame Strike always was the king of board clears. And this card can actually spring the dragon archetype very, very high. It can enable, you know, such effective traits. And if you're playing against it, then good luck to you recovering after being on the receiving end of getting Dragonfire Potion across the board. And yeah, I think that this card is actually as strong as people think it is. And unless there's a lot of Dragon Priest all around and this card will be completely ineffective playing on the ladder, then it will be an auto-include in every single Dragon Priest deck, because it is that awesome. And yeah, the combined percentage from 4 and 5 for this card was like 98%, 97% in this poll, which is completely ridiculous, and you know, overreaches cards like Kazakus and stuff like that. So deservedly on number 1. It is Dragonfire Potion. I think that a lot of angry priest players are looking forward to getting this card and using it in battle. And with that being said, I'm saying bye to you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and check out my other Hearthstone content. Enjoy the release tomorrow, and I'll enjoy it on the 2nd, cause Europe. Thanks, Blizzard. Bye. And take care.